All right, family. We live once again with the general. Y'all already know what time it is. We got that fire today. We're gonna be talking about Iran's new supreme leader, and he will seek the ultimate revenge. You see, for the execution of his father, you would expect that. You would expect that, especially from a nation like Iran. You know that they're not gonna take that land down. And we saying that because I mean you cannot underestimate your enemy. That's one thing you cannot do. You see, you cannot underestimate your enemy. And if you do that, then that is a very devastating mistake that could cost you everything. It could cost you everything. And so uh Donald Trump was saying that, the next leader would have to go through him. Obviously, that's not true. Either he lying, is he telling it, is he confused or what? I'm trying to figure this out. Okay. I'm trying to figure this out. You can have all the weaponry, but you still got to have leadership. You got to have leadership. You got to have strategy. You understand that, a winning strategy. Look at Vietnam. Look at all these other wars, bogged down, mistakes, serious mistakes, that was made. Even in Iraq, when they went in there, dismantling the army, and let them melt off into the population. They should have left them together, so they could identify them. They let them melt off into society, take off their uniforms, melt off into society, and become the revolution. You see, became the guerrillas, that fought against them. And so they made serious mistakes, and cost them a lot of lives, and underestimating your enemy is most definitely a mistake that can cost you a lot of lives. And so now this man is in the hardliners in Iran have voted the man in, appointed, and it was he had already been groomed. They knew that this was a possibility when they knocked the other guy off, the general. Soleimani, when Donald Trump knocked him off. He was the head of their military, knocked him off in his first term. You see, and they had threatened, they had been threatening to knock Donald Trump off, and we on the outside looking in, and we know that these people have been trading blows now and for over I don't know how long, and we don't have no bone in it, but we in it. We don't have no bone in it, but we in it. We on our damn surfboard, and what we trying to do is we are trying to, safely, get, on our surfboard, ride the wave to the shoreline, you see, safely and successfully, and stay out of it in the best way we can. And if in what way and if we have to, then we have to ride with the home team. That's just all it is to it. You see, it could become critical to where dumb shit that people talking out there is, that will become treasonous, because now you talking about your own blood is in threat. You see, when they talking about, conquering the land or sending something over here, and that's just the position we in, because we have not, achieved what, our leaders have, so long have told us we need our own. We need to be trying to build our own. And Marcus Garvey was one of the great ones that said that, you got to dream. It ain't going to always fall in alignment, but you dream. You got to move. And a lot of times when you writing and, you write, but you have to go back. That's your rough draft. And then you got to come back and you rewrite it again. And, you might have to write how many times you have to write another draft? You writing a book. You ain't got to write. You ain't going to write the motherfucker right the first time. You ain't going to write it right the first time. You're going to have to rewrite it. You're going to have to edit it. You understand? Edit it again, rewrite it, edit it some more, rewrite it. And continue until you feel that you have perfected it to where you can't, there's nothing else you could do. So, the thing is, Marcus Garvey gave us a working blueprint. Yes, it's a lot of more stuff that got to be did, but he understood that we would be in these predicaments where we would be in between or on the sideline of situations like this, where it could cause us very much great damage, and we don't have no benefit. We don't have no bone in the game at all. So what are we doing? That just show you, what are we doing here? What's going on here? We're in a predicament that we don't have to be in, or better yet, we shouldn't be in, but we haven't done anything to get ourselves out of it. So in that sense, you have to ride with the best situation that's going, where you can live for the day and continue to maybe, I see what predicament I'm in, and I know I need to get out of it at this point. Some of the people ain't going to want to get out of it. They're going to want to stay in it. And hey, if that's the decision that they make, hey, that's it. That's their own decision, but at the same time, it's giving you an opportunity to say, hey, man, I think I got to create me an exit plan, one way or another. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather be over here than be right here, because it's getting hot. It's getting hot. And these nations is, they want, regardless to what they want to say, all of them been imperialist nations. They have jumped on nations, other nations, when it was to their benefit. Okay, so that's what it is. So don't come in just because a nation, you ain't the big dog today. You ain't the big dog today. Iran used to be the big dog. At one time, Iran was the big dog on the planet. The Persian Empire was the mighty empire on the planet. And they jumped on people from India all the way into Africa. They jumped on people. They devastated Egypt. And just like Dr. Clark said, the Persian conquest was so brutal to where they threw the gates open for Alexander. They say, goddamn it, either bring us, if you ain't gonna bring us a conqueror, what do you say? Bring us a conqueror that at least has some mercy. If you ain't gonna set us free, at least bring us a conqueror that'll have some mercy. And so the Persian was very hard on the Egyptians. You see, that's documented. Okay, so so right there, they've been, and Iran was in Indian slave trade. They sold slave, and it was very brutal on Africans. You see, so so what are we talking about? What are we talking about? They sold slaves to China. China had African slaves too. They bought African slaves. They didn't treat us no better than nobody else. Okay, you buying slaves, that alone let you know where your mind is at. You want to buy somebody to do something you don't want to do, and it's probably so degrading that you want somebody to do degrading work. That's what you're doing. So anybody that involved themselves in the buying or selling slaves on it from Europe or Asia, all of them are imperialists one way or another. Okay, so so they ain't no getting away from that. And so, I don't care. And so, if you don't get yours today, you gonna get yours tomorrow. That's just how it go. And so, and that goes for those in power here. It goes for those in power there. All of them gonna get theirs when that time comes. You see what I'm saying? It might be Iran's time today. It might be somebody else's time tomorrow. But hey, it's coming. You could bet that. That's just the reality of history. You're up one day, you're down the next. You see, it's always going to be a big dog on the planet, though. So if you're going to aspire to be something, be the big dog. Ain't going to be no, people thinking it's going to be some damn We Are the World and some utopia where people going to be skipping through the tulips, and you understand what I'm saying, and singing folk songs and running through the damn grass barefooted and that, all of that with tulips in their ear and things and shit. What is y'all talking about? it ain't never been no world like that. I mean, they've been warring on the planet now since the last. We talking about the last 6, 7,000 years. They've been warring on the planet, and it's either gonna be a big dog, it's gonna be a little dog, and it's gonna be the dead dog. So you just choose which one you gonna be. But that's all it's gonna be. It's just gonna be them three. You're gonna be the big dog, you're gonna be the little dog, or you're gonna be the dead dog. And you're gonna have to choose which one you want to be, because it ain't gonna be no in between. Okay, when you the big dog, you can provide security. You ain't got to be ravaging, but you got to be the big dog. That means when somebody comes see you, they know good and well that they gonna lose so much to fight you that it's best not to even have the fight. That's how strong you gotta be, that you could be so devastating to they well-being, and their existence, to it's almost suicide to fight you, and that's how you have to be. And it could be 2 or 3 countries like that, where it's just not, reasonable to fight that kind of war. And so that's how you have to be on a wicked planet like we on. And it ain't always been that wicked, but that's the reality of the situation today. And so I've always known that Iran and the United States was going to get into it. I mean, that's just it. Everybody who know history and know that this was coming any which way, it was going to happen. They've been woofing at each other now for a while now. You see? And so that's just like niggas in the street. You see 2 niggas keep woofing, it's going down at some point in time. Either they're going to fight in the street, they're going to fight in the lunchroom, they're going to fight in the classroom. But one day it's just going to come to a boiling point, because they've been woofing at each other. They've been standing, mugging, and talking greasy about each other until it's going to go down. And I've seen it happen time. And this is the same instance, okay? This is the same instance. And so, and most of the nations that's in power right now are imperialist nations. They've been imperialist nations. Russia is an imperialist nation. Russia has enslaved damn near the whole of the. It don't matter to me, but don't come to me acting like Russia and Vladimir Putin got some goddamn angel wings on their back and somehow he's better than anybody else. When he has the Soviets have enslaved their own brothers, no different than the Japanese and the Chinese enslaved majority of their brothers over there. When it came time. Mao Zedong said he wiped out over 50 million Chinese of his own people. 50 million. That's a real number. That's not a fake number. That's a real number. Mao Zedong, look at Joseph Stalin. Joseph Stalin and Mao Zedong murdered more of their own people than Hitler even dreamed of. I mean, I didn't see, even Hitler didn't kill his own people. He killed, the other Europeans and what they call the Jews, the so-called Jews today. But I mean, Joseph Stalin and damn Mao Zedong was killing their own people in large numbers. They talking about Mao Zedong and Joseph Stalin of Russia knocked off at least 50 million apiece, both of them, of Russians and Chinese to get the control that they got over it today. So, I mean, don't come in and tell me nothing about Russia unless you're willing to talk about Joseph Stalin. Don't come tell me nothing about China unless you talking about Mao Zedong. Don't come with that. You even Cambodia, what's his name? Pol Pot in Cambodia. Look how many of his people he wiped out. Pol Pot. You understand what I'm saying? One of the most vicious rulers of the was that the 20th century or the 20th century? I think it would have been the 20th. Yeah, the 20th century. You see? So, and we already know the British, what they done. One of the most wickedest nations on the planet, as far as the carnage that it done left on the planet. Okay? France, another one of the most wicked. Netherlands, Belgium, Spain, Portugal, Rome, all of them devastated. You see vast majority, populations of indigenous people all over Asia and Africa. Okay, so now today people won't know. You don't know when your time coming. That frequency is still in the air. So your day might be today, it might be tomorrow, but you gonna get your day. You understand what I'm saying? You gonna get your day. So when I see what's going on the planet, it's just like watching a heavyweight fight. You understand what I'm saying? And you weigh in, and I say some things, and I say, you know what? These beasts right here, they've been warned for a while now. You see what I'm saying? They've been warned for a while now. And they know how to do. This is a new world, man. This ain't back in the Roman days when they was throwing spears and shit. They can shoot goddamn missiles. You understand? With just a button. So this militaristic warfare that they got on today is far and above and beyond any time on the planet. So you can't play, just thinking, oh, it ain't gonna hit you, man. They'll put it in your back pocket. You see what I'm saying? They can put a missile right between your eyes. You understand? That's how precision guided these all over the world. It ain't just the United States. A lot of countries got precision guided missiles today. So this is a world that's ready to just blow up. It's a lot of people that, if they get into it, man, it's going to be a whole lot of devastation on the planet. It ain't no, and so we have to just, we have to guide, we on our surfboard and we riding the wave, and you have to find a way to get to the shoreline. That's all you got to do. And that's nationalism. And it ain't going to happen without that. You got to, enough of us, it ain't got to be everybody. Enough of us got to unite. You understand, to get some security. When you got numbers, you got security. That's just what it is. You see what I'm saying? And if we don't get enough numbers together, you see, you're not going to have no security. So it ain't got to be everybody. Quit thinking in these, you know what I'm saying? Who want to be down? And it's enough people that want to be down. Quit trying to deal with those that don't want to be down. If you don't want to be down, that's okay. I don't even want to conversate with you. And you can hear about what's coming out of these Negroes' mouth. You can determine that without even having a conversation. You don't even need to have no conversation. You know what I'm saying? Just move towards your frequency. It should be like a magnetic pull that guy, you can hear what people talking about, you know what I'm saying? And you see if you can have a conversation and see if people want to try to unite for at least for security. You see what I'm saying? At least for security. And until y'all can get some political, stability for the sake of security, let's unite. And you would think that would be enough, and you still can't get our people to even think on that level. You understand? Because they been so about divisional, the division, man, even in high school, even on the block. You know what I'm saying? Niggas got division on the block. You know what I'm saying? Talk about the boy's shoes, and and talking about he ain't got on. I remember. Oh, nigga, you got on these old, what they call them, slip and slides, and talk about the man until the boy going run in the house crying and, and want to destroy your brother. You destroy your sister. Talk about them like a dog. Little, things of that nature. So we've been a divisionalist, and a lot of it came with us. And a lot of it been, taught to us on a grander level so that we would never unite for the sake of security and overthrowing, our oppressor, the rule of our oppressor. And it's gonna take enough of us to do that. Okay, it's gonna take enough of us to do that. And but Iran's new supreme leader will seek the ultimate revenge. Can't leave him in there. And you know what? This is like military school, because don't ever think you're going to live in a utopian world That shit don't exist. I could tell you that now. That don't exist. You looking at these situations, for future reference of what, you would have to do in a situation like this. You see, in a situation like this, what you would have to do to be successful in any endeavors. And so, and so that don't mean you have to cower, but you have to be diplomatic in a way where you don't get your people annihilated. Because some of these cats out here, they looking to get their peoples annihilated. They really don't care about the people. They really care about the power. The power is more the concern. You see what I'm saying? And so they don't care, there's like over there, some of them, they put the missiles right where the people is. They'll use schools for military installations, where they'll put their people. It's, just think of that. That's how they think over there. Yeah, they do that. You see what I'm saying? That's a level of, straight barbarous, that's barbaric. You know what I'm saying? For real, where you look at your children, your women, and say, you know what, I'm gonna put, because they thinking, oh, they're gonna bomb it. I'm just gonna be 100 with you. Yeah, they do it here too. They do it here too. Yeah, they do. They do it. They do it here too. Yeah, that's true. They do it here too. It didn't been done here before, and it'll be done again. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's levels. You see, on the ground, we talking about today. You see, you talking about today, and so you forcing people into a situation. These your own people now. These your own people now. Yeah, they do it to us, but they ain't our people. You see what I'm saying? So they look at us as expendable any damn way. So we talking about these are their own babies. Now you got to make that make sense too. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, you got to make that. You got to make that make sense too. These their own babies, and that they doing this too. So but anyway, I appreciate y'all family having conversation with the general. We'll see where this go. Whether he stay in power, thank you, family. You say you was wrong about the U.S. winning this war. What did I say? You say I'm wrong? What war is that? I absolutely, listen to me. Now, listen to me. Now, if I had to weigh in, now you want me to weigh in now, I'm going to weigh in. Let me tell you something. Let's be clear now. Let's be clear about this and be reasonable. Now, if the United States take the gloves off on Iran, there is literally nothing that they could do about it. I just want to let you know that. And don't see, that's what's wrong with y'all. They're just like y'all take them little, I remember in school, they take the little, one of the little homies, he don't even want to fight. You see what I'm saying? And push him out there and say, go on there, nigga, you can do it. You know what I'm saying? No, nigga, you can't do it. Don't send that boy out there fighting these niggas, knowing they're going to beat that boy up. See, that's what's wrong with y'all. Y'all the same type of, I see that in y'all. Y'all don't have rationale. You know what I'm saying? Rationale. When you looking at real talk, you see what I'm saying? If they take the gloves off on them, it's a wrap. Be serious about that. Do you think if they could stop what's going on right now, don't you think they would stop it? You think they would let somebody bomb their buildings and their people like that? If they could stop it? What kind of fool is you? That's fool talk. If you got the power, if somebody's bombing, if a nigga shooting up your house and you got the artillery to shoot him off the block, you would shoot him off the block. You wouldn't just sit there and let them shoot the damn house up, fool. Yeah. Sit back, man. Listen here. North Korea is a damn, damn, what they call it? a state. They over there eating goddamn potatoes and rice. You see what I'm saying? They over there, you understand? Come on, man, be serious. Russia is a third world country now. What are you talking about? You talking about Russia? I mean, Russia used to be the Soviet Union. They failed a long time ago trying to battle with the United States. That's the facts. That's the facts. They failed and had to dissolve the damn Soviet Union. They dissolved the Soviet Union. Why? They lost. What are you talking about, man? We're talking about, man, your arms too short to box with God, man. Your arms are too short. That ain't saying, oh, because you say the obvious, that means you agree with the politics. No, I'm just stating the obvious. I'm just stating the obvious. You see what I'm saying? The Soviet Union had to dissolve because they lost the war, period. Okay? And Russia and China got United States sitting out there in the Red Sea on damn near every island surrounding China. Do you see the Chinese on any island around the United States? Name me one island the Chinese run around the United States. Name me one. Can you give me one? I can start naming them. Philippines, damn, Japan, Australia, Guam, goddamn it, South Korea, goddamn it, all them nations, man. I mean, Cambodia, they putting damn military bases on all them. And you telling me that China is so strong? I tell you what, try one damn. Name me one island around the United States you can find that controlled by Russia or China. Can you do that? I'm not gonna wait no longer than 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. I don't need to hear no more because it ain't none. It ain't none. It ain't none. Okay? It ain't none. So there it is. Yeah. They say it's a different ball with BRICS. We'll see. What you gonna get? I love this. What you gonna get? Russia economy is in turmoil. How is Russia gonna lead BRICS when they spending 50% of their gross national product on the war with Ukraine? They people over there sick of Vladimir Putin because he taking all the money of Russia, spending it on a war that they can't even see. What the hell is they gonna get out of it? They act like Ukraine is a damn. They got all fruit trees over there. Man, that's a damn cold climate nation. What the hell is they gonna get out of Ukraine? You see what I'm saying? So you mean to tell me you spending all your national gross national product over there, your money and everything else, you spending it all over there in Ukraine, and you talking about running BRICS? It's only one nation in BRICS that's really moving the crowd, and that's China. That's it. All them other nations is peak squeaks. Real talk. Because again, Brazil was in BRICS, but I tell you what, with Venezuela, they didn't already sent these nations in the Western Hemisphere. They didn't send them a message. And I guarantee you that the majority of them gonna heed the message. I'm quite sure they are. You see what I'm saying? Because when the man show up, he seen people keep talking this. The man seemed to be, when he show up, he seen, now I know every dog has his day. That's not what I'm saying. But for the most part, when he say he coming and he's victorious. They just walked into Venezuela. They got an army. What happened to their army? They didn't even fight. Did you hear what they said about when the United States went into Venezuela? They said that they got some advanced technology. They say they damn soldiers couldn't do nothing with. So people keep talking about what China got. Damn, United States been in this damn scientific, military shit for a while now. You think they ain't got something more advanced than can China just catch up out of nowhere? Is y'all crazy? You don't think they got something other than, what they telling y'all about? But they saying that, man, when they hit that damn shoreline, This is coming from the people in Venezuela, man. They say the soldiers didn't even want to fight. They didn't even want to fight them because they didn't win. How you gonna, you got all these soldiers and y'all, they basically walked in there and got their president without really a fight, without even, I don't even think they lost a soldier. How do you do that in a nation like that? You go walk right in and get the man out of there like that and walk and just walk out the nation with your leader? They didn't knock off, the Iranian leader and things of that nature. And so, not saying that a dog cannot have his day, but y'all are trying to ramp up nations that have no chance of really beating the United States. And that's dumb. That's dumb strategically to even sit up here and say some of the shit that y'all saying, man. Y'all foolish. Y'all don't need to be giving no information to nobody. Now, there's some nations that can drive United States, man, to reconsider. And I know those nations that'll make the United States reconsider going to war with that nation. But the nation that y'all talking about are not those nations. Y'all is fabricating this shit, man. Talking about the United. No, they not. They got the equipment. They've been warring for the last 100 fucking years. They professionals at this. They know what it takes, man, to break you down. You understand? Knock your bridges out. Knock your water out. Do you know just knocking somebody electricity out? Just that alone, just knocking the damn electricity out and knocking the water out. Once those two things go out, man, you really in a hell of a predicament because the people now, they like, damn, how we gonna eat? How we gonna drink? You send a whole nation into damn chaos, just knocking out their damn water and they damn, we done been in hurricanes and natural disasters. Imagine, man, when you in a situation like that and nobody's coming to your aid and you out here, no medicine, no water, no damn food. So understand, man, they know how to boom, 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 knock that on out. You understand what I'm saying? You got the nation in disaster at that point. You know what I'm saying? So quit over exaggerating, these little bitty nations being able to do something. Yeah, if you don't go in with the heart, now you can have all the weaponry. And if you don't go in there with the full heart to be successful, you can be defeated. Okay, that's just like they went into Vietnam and them Vietnamese gave their ass the business. You see what I'm saying? They was not having it. You understand? They made preparations for that. So, when they went into Vietnam, that was something different. Them people was over there. They was bout it. You understand what I'm saying? And the United States wouldn't know their heart was not in it because they know they was wrong for going over there on them people's land. Their heart was not in it and they got their ass kicked and they had to get up out of there. You see what I'm saying? In Korea, they had to settle. They had to settle. You see what I'm saying? They wasn't going to beat them people over there without a whole lot of deaths. You see, they had already, the Korean War, they had lost so many soldiers over, man, they lost hundreds of thousands, probably 1 million soldiers. Shit, they probably, you know what I'm saying? They lost some hundreds of thousands of soldiers in Korea. You see what I'm saying? Probably 1 million if you add it up. You know what I'm saying? Between Vietnam and Korea, man, they done lost millions of people. You feel what I'm saying? So I understand that if you ain't got the wherewithal, if you ain't got the, the art of war say, man, you got to have right on your side. If you right and somebody then wronged you, your heart is about beating their ass. You feel what I'm saying? You didn't wrong me, you didn't came in, and so people will fight to the death. But if you are bogus, nation on these people's soil for no reason, and you ain't got the wherewithal because you wrong, yeah, you can get your ass whooped with the weaponry. You can get your ass whooped with the weaponry. But today, it's a different thing, man. It's a different thing. They don't even need bodies. They sending drones. They sending machines in there to do the work today. So you see, so this is where they going with that. But anyway, family, I appreciate y'all Yeah, I appreciate y'all, man. Listen to me. I wouldn't tell you nothing different because I want you to be victorious. You see what I'm saying? They are on this planet doing some crazy shit, and they're being successful at it. I'm just gonna be real with you. They're being successful. Now, the ultimate when they come to what they call them the boss. You know, when you come now, it's some boss. The final boss. The final boss probably gonna be, and that's gonna be something different. But I don't think Russia or China is really ready to see the United States, and I think they know that. I think they know it. I think they know it. I think China know it. People thinking, I think China knows that. And that's why they ain't really saying nothing. It ain't that they being, or what they been, no, they ain't got nothing. You see what I'm saying? When you ain't got what people think you got, and you really don't want nobody to push you into that kind of fight. You see what I'm saying? Other than that, if you had the smoke, you would at least get them out your front door. I don't give a damn what you say. You would at least get them out your front door. And they have not been able to do that. So I don't have no confidence that China is as strong as people say that they are. Anyway, I'm up out of here, family. We're going to go over to Patreon, the last video for the day. I'm going to leave that after I come off of Patreon. If y'all want to join me as we deal with these fentanyl wars that the Chinese and the Mexican cartel, two nations that have a gripe with the United States, the Mexican people feeling like the United States is a part of their homeland and they got aspirations to retake parts of the United States. China, you understand, looking to become the great dragon on the planet, knowing how to fight a narcotic war and dissolve a nation from the inside out, because they didn't been through some of the same, been through some of the same strategies and techniques that have been used on them. Come with me, family, because we about to build for real. This is General Sabra Sunseti saying, hey, arm yourself with knowledge, bang on that wicked beast daily, liberation through African education and confrontation. Boom, Black Power.